Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Chris Chesney is the Vice President of Training and Organizational Development at Repairify. He's a best practice winner here at the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Today, we've paired Chris up with Tully Williams from the Nilo Company up in Sacramento, California. Chris and Tully, welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Thanks, Ted.
Chris, a lot of great feedback on your last segment at the Roaring 20s. I know Tully and I spoke about that shortly thereafter. I want to talk to you a little bit about what you're doing in the market because I see Repairify, Chris, everywhere. Every week, there's a big announcement, something new coming. There's a lot that you're doing for the consumer today and for dealers, and there's a lot of complexity in the work that's involved. So, Chris, if you would, kind of take us through that.
Well, Ted, thanks for having us on again. And Tully, welcome. It's really today, the ADAS systems, the safety systems on the vehicles that Tully's selling every day, that people are buying every day, are equipped with technologies that we could only dream of several years ago. And they're beginning to scale to the point where you can't find a vehicle driving down the road very often or in our shops every day that don't have a safety system on them. I can remember about 7 or 8 years ago when I started doing research around ADAS, walked into a body shop across the street from my research center and just talked to the manager about the technologies. And he said, yeah, we don't see those very often. And when we do, we send them to the dealer. They take care of them. So we really aren't interested in getting into ADAS calibrations or services. I said, well, that's great. Can I look around a little bit? He said, yeah, help yourself. So I walked through the lot. There were 14 cars in the bays in some area or stage of repair, and 13 of the 14 had some level of ADAS system on board that needed to be calibrated. So that was 8 years ago. Today, that's even more prevalent. And what I'm aligning with today, to just give you an analogy to look at, from our perspective as service providers and from the motor's perspective, is people today tend to get in the vehicle and they're annoyed by the lane keep assist or the lane departure warnings or those types of things, and they just don't know why they're there. They weren't onboarded well when they purchased the vehicle, new or used, and so they tend to go into the information stack and turn them off. And that's akin to not buckling your seatbelt when you're driving the car. And you all remember the click it or ticket campaigns that were rampant 15, 20 years ago that really brought that awareness to all of us about the safety system on board that vehicle, the seatbelt, that we really needed to pay attention to. ADAS systems are exactly the same thing. And so our efforts at Repairify are to provide shops, collision centers with the technology and the talent to be able to service those systems appropriately, to return that vehicle to the motorist in the way it was designed so that we're clicking that seat belt, if you will, for them. So we're excited to bring those technologies to light and anxious to talk more about them.
Chris, great analogy. I love the explanation. Tully, that's in your wheelhouse as well.
You know, and you think about it, is that when you look at a body shop as a dealership, it's the same thing. We're selling the capacity of hours we have. And also, with a body shop, what do we worry about? Rental car expense. And I think when you look at this product here, is one of the problems we have at our body shop as well, is that those cars have some certain services or security systems that must go to a dealer. Well, we assume must go to a dealer to be repaired. And what we do is that, what does that do? That stops the process 2, 3, 4, even 5 days. And that's with a great relationship with the body shop. As our body shop is part of our family, we give them professional treatment. It doesn't mean you're going to get in today. And the issue now is what we have is the ability to help our technicians at our body shops perform all, I'm going to say it one more time, all of the repairs at the store. And what does that do? Decreases rental car expense. What do insurance companies hate? Rental car expense. But also, we're going to get the car out of the shop faster which in turns helps our customers out. And we're going to do it the right way. We're going to do it with OEM stuff. So the nice thing about Repairify helps us keep the car in the shop, give the hours to our technicians at the body shop, lower our rental car expense, and ultimately make our customers happy. It's a win-win for everyone.
Exactly.
Chris, how do you like that explanation, Chris?
That is perfectly described, Tully. It fits the model as we designed it. And the other thing that we end up seeing in the mechanical space at your dealerships, especially the used car segment of your business, is the need to have that talent and technology aligned with the vehicle that you're trying to prepare to put on the lot. And our technology, it covers all makes, all models, and it really focuses on scaling that talent and technology at the appropriate time. So the thing that we're seeing besides the not buckling the seatbelt issue is when the vehicle's in the repair center or it's being reconditioned to be put on the lot, many times you're replacing components on the vehicle. You may just remove a bumper cover for maybe a spot repair, or replacing a sensor or a harness or something, or a mirror was damaged and you replace that. Those components really initiate the need to calibrate that system again. And if you don't, you're selling a vehicle that's not, in my words, this is a Chesneyism, is not in a ready to crash state. And so all of these systems sit on the vehicle waiting for something to happen so they can protect the motorist from that event. And if they aren't prepared to activate and react quickly, then somebody's going to get hurt. And none of us want to be put in that liability position. So it's not just the body shop, but the mechanical shop who replaces a controller on board the vehicle, a computer, and they don't do variant coding. They don't tell it what vehicle it's been put on, and invite that module to join the network on board. Those systems become inactive, and you're sending the car out potentially in a dangerous mode that we don't want to provide our customers in any way, shape, or form.
Tully, this is not going away. It's getting bigger and bigger. It's the entire industry. What are your thoughts and how this affects our fellow fixed ops
you
directors?
brought up the used car piece, right? The body
Recon,
shop
yeah.
is a separate issue. Crash, cars destroyed, blah, blah, blah. We fix it. We make the customer happy. But when you look at the business today with used cars, is a huge deal. And, yes, we can fix our own OEM problems. But the problem is that dealerships don't sell only their OEM car. And if you're going to run a good, I hate to say this out loud, a great used car department, we are not going to make sure that all of our cars are fixed properly, because that's our reputation.
Mm-hmm.
And if we have a great reputation of selling great used cars, all of the safety things must be fixed. All of the recalls must be done. So what helps, what Chris does for us here is, again, when it comes to used cars, what's the killer on used cars? Days in recon. And our goal is to get them out in 3 days. If we have to send it even to a sister store, or God forbid, an outside store, boom, 7 days, the car could also change value. So the goal is that keep everything in the shop. Why? So we can sell more hours and keep that retention time in the shop down and keep it in that 3 hours instead of shipping it out and waiting. And the used car is going crazy. And then the used car manager asks for discounts. And then, oh my God, it goes crazy. Keep it in the store. The problem we have is we have to send things out. Chris's product helps us keep it in the store at the body shop, but also, more importantly, because I'm more on the service side, keep it all your recon in-house. Sell those hours through those great technicians in-house. That's the win.
Tully, recon has never been a bigger topic than it is right now. Okay, it has come to the top. Fixed Ops Roundtable, we have used vehicle managers, reconditioning managers attending all of these events, and they're all concerned, Chris, with how long it's going to take to get that vehicle, like Tully said, frontline ready. And in the past, it didn't maybe matter so much, but with used vehicle values today, as they are, Chris, this is top of mind.
Absolutely. I get back to the scaling of talent and technology. Today, we many times argue I don't have the talent in the bays. I have a technician shortage. And we throw technician shortage at all of our problems. And the reality is you can use technology to bridge that gap by hitting the easy button, by hitting the Repairify button, if you will, to bring that service or that technology or that talent to bear at the time you need it, not having to wait on availability at your mechanical shop, not waiting on availability at your sister store, but not waiting on the availability of a mobile tech that the team might have a source to just do those things that maybe they don't have the ability to do. You can hit that button and call on us, and we can bring that to bear to keep the work flowing. It's not just condensing the number of days, but the stalling of the vehicle, stalling of the vehicle in the workflow costs dollars and cents. It eats up hours every day. And so you need to keep that vehicle and that repair moving through the workflow constantly, and we can help do that.
That easy button, Tully, is a great Chesneyism. I think it's going to go down as certainly one of those.
You know, it's interesting you talk about how recon and used cars is really kind of integrated into the fixed ops roundtable, and I say amen to that. And if you look at a lot of big things coming out today, and I've talked about it a lot, and a lot of other people have, is that how do we buy quality used cars? And a lot of times, what do we look at? We look at our service drive. How do we help these people in the service drive get into another great used or new automobile? And a lot of times we have is a brand maybe that's not our brand that comes in with a check engine light. What do we do? Oh my God, we can't buy the car. But you know what? Let's find out if it's a simple or a big fix, or if it is a fix, but we might have a better idea of what it is. So quality of purchasing cars is another win for a product like this, is that we can find out what is wrong with the car before we buy it. We can discount that car because, the customer knows what's wrong with it. And also we can say, we'll take it for this price because, we have to fix this safety item. As you would expect a quality used car, we want to make sure that we fix your car up to that same quality standard. So making sure we know how we buy cars, making sure we keep all of that in-house. I'm going to say it again. It's all about getting those hours in your store. Don't let them go away. Keep them in your store.
Amen to the hours. Chris, I'll give you the last word.
Well, Tully, thanks for being on, and Ted, thanks for the opportunity. But at the end of the day, the vehicle's not going to get any more simple than it is today. It's going to continue to advance in technology. We're working on and selling the most technologically advanced machine on the planet. We are working on a system that is significantly more advanced than the space shuttle, than the F-35, which is the most sophisticated aircraft on the planet. An F-35 contains around 27 million lines of code on board to operate its systems. The average F-150 has over 150 million lines of code on board to operate all the systems on board, including the safety systems. And so we're expecting our technicians and our sales staff and our service staff to be able to solve the problems on those vehicles. So two things need to happen. One is we need to invest in our people so that they're prepared to address those issues. Two is we've got to have a scalable approach to that talent and apply the right technology at the right point in time that meets that technology in the bay at the appropriate position. So we're here to do that. That's what Repairify was stood up to do, and we're happy to help anybody on the call that's interested.
Chris, if our audience is ready, which they are, to learn more, how do we reach out to Repairify? What's the best way? How do we get started?
Repairify.com or astech.com, ASTECH.com. Both will get you to a position where you can fill out an information form and a team member will reach out to you and have a conversation with you.
And I see if somebody wants to reach out to you, Chris, I see an email coming by in the ticker here, chris.chesney@repairify.com.
Always welcome.
Wow. Great information. Tully, thank you for helping to put it in perspective for our audience. I think that helps drive it home.
Amen. It's all about the hours, my good friend.
Right. I've heard that before. Everybody, I want to thank so much Tully Williams from the Nilo Company, Chris Chesney from Repairify. Gentlemen, Thanksgiving is next week. I want to wish you both and your families a very happy Thanksgiving.
Same to you all. Thanks. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Chris Chesney from Repairify with Tully Williams here today at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.